So this is my sport career presentation. So the person I chose was Mr. Scott Schiff, who is the current VP of business operations for the Motor City Cruise, who is the Detroit Pistons G League team. I chose him because he's had many years within the sport industry and he's kind of stuck with one job, but he's climbed the ladder. So it gives like a really good perspective on how to actually climb the ladder and make the next step. So I found his information through a contact or a job posting. Um, for the Pistons, and we just conducted our interview over Zoom. Um, so in college, Mr. Schiff, he went to Adrian College in Adrian, Michigan in 1999. Um, he had an interest in sports, but didn't want to be an athletic trainer. According to him, he didn't want to be the nerd with the fanny pack on the sideline. So at this time, since sport management was not really a big thing, there was no sport management program in at Adrian College. So, it was kind of hard for him to find his niche. He tried to join the education program, but he didn't get in, which kind of happens. But, he kind of bounced back, and it made him talk to his advisor and told him to take health and physical education with a business admin minor. Um, and since it was kind of a new combination, he was allowed to call it whatever he wanted, so he called it sports management. According to him, he's a glorified gym teacher due to his health and physical education major. Um, then we're gonna talk. So the way I'm gonna set this up, we're gonna talk about his journey, and then we're gonna talk about his current job. So right out of college, he was looking on Teamwork Online, found a job with the Tampa Bay Lightning, um, filled in an application, got a call from someone named Doug Dawson, and he was born in Ohio. Hockey's not really the big thing. It's like their Buckeye football and the Cavaliers. But Mr. Dawson, who helped him get the job, was actually born in Ohio. So he was like, let's give him a shot. So he started that job in 2001. Um, his first game working was actually his first ever NHL game. So that was pretty cool. At the time, the Tampa Bay is a transient market because people didn't want to watch hockey in Tampa Bay. The big team was the Buccaneers. Okay, so the reason why no one really wanted to watch hockey in Tampa Bay is because like the Bucks were really big, and hockey is not really a southern, especially Florida sport. It's more of a Midwest, Northeast type of sport. So his official job title was group sales account executive. So he'd sell seats to people, box, premium, all that. And he worked for the team for 3 seasons, and then near the end of his 3 season run, he was kind of getting restless, so he decided to leave. Um, so then he went to the Columbus Blue Jackets after 3 years. It was the same position, so group account sales executive. But he had more connections within the Columbus area, and it was closer to home, so it kind of fit what he wanted at that time better. Um, so as I mentioned before, he's from the Ohio area, so hockey was like really new to Columbus, especially the Blue Jackets, as they were just kind of starting their organization. It's a lot different than Ohio State football or the Michigan area sports. Um, but so since it was kind of a new franchise and they kind of know about hockey, they play hockey in high school, college, all that. Um, it kind of operated more as a marketing firm where they were marketing the tickets to certain people. So they're like, oh, this person likes hockey, so let's have them come out to a Blue Jackets game. So they were kind of marketing instead of selling. Um, so during his year with the Columbus Blue Jackets, they actually finished last. And while his former team, the Lightning, won the cup, so it's kind of sad for him because he didn't get like a ring and all that, and didn't get to drink out of the cup. But sometimes that stuff happens. And he was there until the NHL lockout for about a season. So during the lockout year in 2004, 2005, the NHL had a lockout due to the league wanting to have a salary cap. Um, he was told he was not going to lose his job, but he had a wife to support, so he left the organization. During this time, a connection from the Lightning reached out. It was this, guy with a small business. He would sell rubber O rings and then from the low and then sell them high. Mr. Schiff sold him club seats, and during his time with the Lightning and throughout with the Blue Jackets, he kept offering him a job. And since there's a break, he was like, okay, now's the time. So he hated it. It was like a small little startup, but he still hated it because it wasn't sports. It wasn't what he was passionate about, even though he was making more money. So he knew that he had to get back into sports. So after the lockout ended, He had offers from the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Phoenix Coyotes. So he chose the Coyotes due to his wife being Canadian, and Wayne Gretzky's the great one of the greatest hockey players of all time. He was the head coach at the time. So that sweetened the deal a little bit. But the real reason was because his previous experience selling hockey seats. Um, so once again, it was a transient market down in Phoenix because no one wanted to watch hockey in Phoenix. They still really don't, but still. And plus, the Suns were hot. Like Steve Nash was winning an MVP. They were making the playoffs. They were the big team there. He got promoted to a manager now because at the small startup, he actually became a manager. So, he kind of managed a team, selling tickets, all that. And then after 4 years, a meeting is called, and the owner of the Coyotes actually declared bankruptcy, and everyone started leaving the organization. He was told he was not going to lose his job, but still, he had 2 kids now. He needed to kind of support a family. So he's like, okay, let's find other positions in Phoenix. And one of the big teams that happens to be within Phoenix is the Harlem Globetrotters. Their headquarters is actually in Phoenix. And he's been a basketball fan since he was a kid. He played basketball at Adrian College, so basketball was a big part of his life. So it was kind of a no-brainer. He was the director of ticket sales with the Globetrotters in 2009. And with the Globetrotters being a traveling event, he had to and there's so many different cities, towns, arenas they have to go to. They actually have 3 tours going on at one time, and he was in charge of all of them and selling, tickets to those tours. So he helped build the brand more, and he also helped lead a group selling tickets. And then one day he got a call from Doug Dawson, who hired him at the Lightning, and he was like, "Hey, I work at, this new team, this team. Would you like to come get a job?" And he's like, "Yeah." So that team actually ended up being the Detroit Pistons. In 2013, Mr. Shipp was hired by the Detroit Pistons as the senior director of consumer sales. So this was his dream job because it was close to home. He knew the market for it. He didn't really like the Pistons because he's a Michael Jordan fan as a kid, but still, you know, it's still basketball. He knows the market, all that. A couple years in, he heard about the Detroit Pistons making a G League team. So a G League team is like a farm system team. So they'll take prospects from the NBA and put them in the G League to give them time to develop, and then they'll come back up. Or someone gets hurt, they'll rehab down there. So he thought it was a really interesting idea and a really good idea, but the only problem is that they're competing with the Pistons to sell tickets, so it kind of be of a crowded market. And the Detroit Pistons needed someone to lean into it. He was chosen. After a week, he was like, I can get used to this," and he was hired in the position. So this new position was actually his current position, the VP of Business Operations for the Motor City Cruise, which is the Pistons G League. He likes the job for its startup mentality and the challenge that it brings because he's competing with the Detroit Pistons to sell tickets. It's on a very small scale. It's not as big as an NBA team, but it still is a good, it helps you sharpen your skills. He's starting his 10th season with the Pistons organization, second with the Motor City Cruise this year. It helps him develop a lot of skills and learn more about the business because the G League system and the NBA system are totally different. So it's good to well round yourself with both. Um, so his day to day is he handles all things selling. That could be tickets, merchandising, sponsorships. He helps sell. So he oversaw the open tryouts for the team this past spring, and he's been getting calls from agents, and managers of players, which is totally different for him because he never really did that. He just sold, sold, sold. So it's kind of good for him to see that part. He oversees the ticket sales and helps plan out special events to get people's in seats. And then he has 3 big goals every season. 1, get people in seats. 2, hit their partnership numbers, or as we know them, sponsorships. So get sponsorships for the arena, maybe the jerseys, um, the scores table, giveaway events, stuff like that. And they hit their ticket sale goals. It's about a 3,000 seat arena, so I would guess about 2,000 to 2,500 is a good sell. Job requirements is average pay for his position. So you need a bachelor's or master's degree in something business related. So sports management would count. 10 to 12 years of selling tickets at a national level. So you need to be NCAA, NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA. Yeah. So you need to hit the big 5. You need 10 years in a fast-paced business environment, which you can do while you're selling tickets. You need experience within the sport industry that kind of comes along with everything, but also you need to start getting relevant experience. You need good presentation and speaking skills because if you have a goal or your sponsor has a goal, you need to be able to communicate that effectively and give a presentation on why your team is the best to get that sponsorship. You need strong business and leadership skills because if you don't have strong leadership skills, your team's going to fail. And you need strong business skills to make sure that you can help the business grow. On average, they get paid around $100,000 to $350,000 per year. But Mr. Schiff also works on a commission fee. So every time he sells, he gets commission off of that. His hours. So he works between 60 and 70 hours a week. So he normally works a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then he has to deal with games and other events. It could be more depending on the week. So if he has a bunch of games during the week, it could be 80 to 90 hours. And if he doesn't really have that big of a week, it's like 50 to 60. So it kind of ranges. He also has to work weekends for weekend events because a lot of games are on the weekend, since it's easier to get a crowd there. So his in-season versus off-season change in work. So there is no off-season for him. Um, Once they reach around the February of the current season, they're already working on projects for next season. So they at the beginning of the season and through the February before, they plan through tip off or no preseason through playoffs. So they have everything planned out. During their season, it is a little bit more relaxed as they are able to see kind of how their hard work is paid off. And like I already said, they already planned through the playoffs. What does he like and not like about his job? So he likes that he has a cool job and he has a job that his kids love. He likes that he has a job and something that he loves and is passionate about. Um, the only hard part is it's tough to compete with the Pistons and other Michigan sports because it's just a crowded market. Another hard part is that the G League roster flips, so it's hard to connect and market with players since the Pistons will be able to, they might take a couple players up and send some down. So it's kind of hard to market what players are coming up and coming down. How does team success affect his job? It's like one of the biggest factors within his job since he's in charge of ticket sales. If the team sucks, people don't want to come see him. But if on the other side, if an NBA player does get hurt and rehabs within the G League, then people want to go buy tickets and go see that game because it's cheap and that might be their only opportunity to go see that player. A good example is Cade Cunningham for the Pistons, right? So if he breaks his leg and comes down and rehabs with the G League, people are going to go see Cade Cunningham. So that they're going to sell that game out. Advice. So he said, try new things. You'll never know what you're good at, but you have to kind of find your niche. Take the opportunities presented to you. Don't if someone offers you something like an opportunity or something, don't take it for granted and actually go do it and don't just pass it by because that could be the make or break for your next job. Don't be the number one super fan because say the team's on a 5-game losing streak and you come in and this team sucks. I can't work here anymore. You're gonna get fired because it's gonna affect your job. You have to be able to reset every single day. Don't fall in love with the team or the players. Good example is with Mr. Schiff is he moved from Ohio to Tampa Bay to Ohio to Phoenix, now to Detroit. So you move all the time. And that's the same with the players. Maybe there's a player that you really like and he gets traded. Well, that sucks. You have to keep doing your job. Find relevant experience as well in college. This one's really important. Because right now sports management degree is kind of required to get a lot of jobs. So you need those experiences to kind of set you apart. Networking is key and not only helps you with your social skills, but it also helps you like, dress well, talk to people you never talked before. It helps you make connections. So networking is probably the biggest thing. So what I took from the interview, I took to never give up since he had to leave a couple of jobs. And he kept finding jobs. So never give up. Don't care about the money, care about your passion because if you're stuck working a job that you make $1 million a year, but you hate it, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life. So find something that you like. And then the final thing is just like go out and do stuff. Go out and have fun. Don't just sit there, like go out and get what you want. So yeah.